Welcome back, everybody. We are well in hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious Manchester, New Hampshire. Also, of course, you can stream the show online if you go to WMNHradio.org or go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. We have, of course, Jenny is here at the news table, as we call it.
Present and accounted for.
And Jesse Coffey is still with us as well. Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
We're still trying to figure out if we're related.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Sure yet.
That's a common name.
Yeah.
You know, Coffey.
There's like 7 or 8 Jennifer Coffeys in New Hampshire alone.
You know,
Are
I
there
can
that
get
many?
buried for free in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Coffee Mountain.
Oh,
Yes, that's
It's
actually true.
It's actually sadder when
true.
you think about it because it's only called Coffee Mountain because there's just a bunch of coffees buried there.
No, it wasn't originally a settlement.
And
it
now
was-
it's a graveyard.
And it was a whole like town kind of a thing. The only thing that maintained the name was the mountain.
And there's a gravestone.
And there's land at the top of the mountain that still belongs to the Coffey family.
oh.
That's why you can get buried
Fancy.
there for free if you're a Coffey. I don't know that
Oh.
that would
I
apply
don't know
to
if
me
it's
though.
still free either.
No, well,
I think you still got to pay for the head plate.
well, yeah, you don't get
Yeah.
that part for free, but
Yeah.
they can throw you in the dirt for free. Just put you in a sack.
I can do that myself.
Put you in a sack, just chuck you
I'm not
in.
sure how you would.
What do you mean?
Timing? I don't know. I
Timing?
just wait outside for a while.
I guess if you knew you were about to die, you
You just climb up there.
True.
just fall
Be like
in.
old Yella.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
get out by the tree.
Well, no, old Yeller had to be shot. He didn't.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to bank on that Viking funeral, but I don't think it's legal.
Yeah, we want Viking funerals.
They'll put you in a boat. You have
Set it on
some
fire.
really cool person with a bow and arrow, fire, all that good
Fire
stuff.
a
Oh.
flaming arrow into your boat. And there's flames, fire. You just float out into the sea and turn into ash. And,
Oh.
yeah, see, that would be
It's a
the
waste
great.
of a good boat, but it's a great time.
Really, really, I think it would be wonderful. Absolutely. I like the Viking funeral.
I'd like to be thrown off of a boat so it looks like it was a mob hit. I just think that'd be fun.
Get you a cinder block.
Yeah. I mean, why
really,
not?
really profit.
You know, I'm not going to suffer. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
When I die, you got to get some guys to come in and show up in the middle of the celebration of life, all dressed in black suits with black sunglasses, and just stand there around the room looking at everybody,
Hmm.
writing notes.
There you go. There you go. We've got Ricky Mapleton is going to be joining us in the third hour at 11 a.m. and he's got some really fun new he's got some really fun new songs coming up. And if you'd like to join us in the meantime, the studio line is open 603-250-6007, 603-250. Excuse me. You can see why I went and refilled my water.
Yeah,
603-250-6007.
you're a little stuck there.
My throat is still adapting to doing this in the morning, I think.
Yes, this
I understand
ungodly
that.
hour of being awake. Ugh.
Of course, you can also interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. You can text us at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. But we'd love it if you give us a call at 603-250-6007. By the way, Jay Bello from Chasing the Devil, we did play that track, Beautiful Nightmare. Such a great song.
Love that song.
Rhonda was commenting in the Facebook live chat how much she likes it. Jay said, I can't thank you guys enough for the spin. Your support of local music doesn't go unnoticed. Much love. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Much love to you.
Thank
Yeah. Such a great. I've known Jay for years and years and years. Back when, of course, people in the area remember Purge DI, great band, and
Let me tell you, if you haven't made yourself a playlist of local artists, you are so missing out.
oh, absolutely.
We have so many incredible independent artists in our neck of the woods. I have
Yeah.
a whole playlist that's just nothing but independent artists.
Yeah.
Every genre. There's not a genre you can think of that this city doesn't have for you. We saw a band that was alternative country.
What, is that like trap country or?
No, I don't.
No, it's like
it's more like
America.
rock,
Yeah,
like
it's,
rock country. I think
so. Like Southern rock.
No, they weren't Southern rock.
No.
Like Americana.
like American.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Regals. The name of the band was Regals.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, they're excellent
I'll check 'em
band.
out.
Excellent.
We saw them at Mosaic Art Collective.
Yep, they played with Abner II, which is another artist that I'd love for you to see. He's amazing. He does looping with a viola.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he's been on the show.
You guys would love to have him. Probably. He's really great.
We should, speaking of Mosaic Art Collective, we
Yes.
should mention what's coming up.
Nothing's coming up. No. Yes. Oh my gosh, I just messed up what I was doing. Coming next week on the 10th is the opening reception for the All Hat Status.
Hearts.
All Heart Status.
Right.
I didn't say, I said heart.
You said hat.
I
Hat.
did not.
You did. You
did.
You keep saying hat.
I don't know why.
You
I
like
gotta
hats.
stop looking at you. Ugh. All right. So on the February 10th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the All Heart Statuses opening reception art show. It's a wonderful experience. Basically, this one is all about experiencing raw emotion and storytelling of a day without. Oh, I'm mixing up my stuff. Sorry, guys. The 10th is the opening of the All Heart Status opening reception, as I said. February 17th is A Day Without Love, and that's another musical performance is coming in. Brian Walker is going to be there. Why are you looking at me funny?
Well,
Because I got mixed up.
I
got mixed up.
Well, and I thought you were going to say more about February 10th because that's a pretty significant event.
Why?
Uh,
No, I'm getting all mixed up and blending the two together is what I did.
yeah.
At the All Heart Statuses show at the Mosaic
on February
Art
10th.
Collective, one of my paintings is hanging on the wall.
Yes.
I can't believe that.
Yes.
It's really crazy. I'm so nervous about that. I'm really nervous about walking in there and seeing it hanging among all the other artists and probably feeling like I don't belong there. Because seriously, the pieces that you see on those walls are just amazing. So yeah, I'm really scared to be hung up there now.
Yeah.
I got more nervous after we dropped it off.
Yeah.
I was looking around the room going, oh my God, my painting's going to be up with all these other paintings in a gallery.
So that's going to be on the 10th from 4 to 8 p.m. People can come
from
in.
4
and
to
they
8 p.m.
They can look, they can purchase.
They
right?
can look, they can purchase. There's going to be a lot of local artists represented there. It's going to be a wonderful show. I highly encourage you to come to the reception. You will not be sorry.
Very good. Very good. But there is a big event, of course, on the 17th there
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Which
A Day Without Love.
Why didn't they pick Valentine's Day? That would have been such a perfect title with that one.
I thought there was something else going on Valentine's Day.
Is that a day with love?
probably.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
I like being cynical.
So there's going to be a performance by Brian Walker on that day at the Mosaic Art Collective. So you will he's going to be giving fresh release of a latest album, A Stranger That You Met Before. He will take you on a sonically diverse journey through genres like folk, punk, emo, and shoegaze, highlighting the origins of friendship within the independent music community.
What is shoegaze?
I was going to ask the same thing. I'm not familiar with that word.
Like, I've recognized all the other.
I'm
other ones, but
honestly,
that's
I'm
that's
honestly
interesting.
not. I'm going to have to look this up because I really
Yeah.
don't know what that actually. Okay, so shoegaze, originally called shoegazing and sometimes conflated with dream pop, is a subgenre of indie and alternative rock characterized by its ethereal mix of obscured vocals, guitar distortions and effects, feedback, and overwhelming volume.
Okay.
I've honestly
Yeah.
never heard of that before. Now I have to check this out.
Yeah.
Now I have to check. Have you?
Yeah.
You've heard of that before?
Yes.
It's a new word for me. Yeah.
Um,
That's interesting. What do you think of it?
what do I think of?
That genre.
I'm trying to think.
Is it overly? It says about overwhelming volume. Like, is it gonna pop your ears volume?
No. It's just I was trying to think of an example. I mean, some Radiohead probably could be, as far as a mainstream example of what might veer into shoegaze. Radiohead, kind of. I was trying to think of a better example, but Rhonda says, Jen, your painting is amazing.
Aw,
Yes, because you did post pictures.
I did. Thank you so much. I don't want to be remiss to forget. Also on the 17th, Ella Beth Voss will be performing acoustically at the Mosaic Art Collective. So there are two musical artists that will be there that day. It definitely be a wonderful day. Go to the mosaicartcollective.com to purchase tickets and see upcoming events.
Also, in the Facebook live chat, Etak Derman, if I'm saying it correctly, better known to us as Kate Shimke from Darling Hill, who has been on the show, another amazing musician from the area. She says the new station looks snappy. She really enjoyed that Jerry and the Scumbags song that I played, Unicycle. She was saying this music is fire, 80s vibes all day long. That's it. I'm going to rock some spandex and go empty a can of Aquanet. And she was also asking you to share. Can you share the playlist? Is it a Spotify playlist, the one of just local music that you
It's
have?
actually an Amazon playlist. I think I can. I'll have to go home and look at that. I think I can share.
Yeah, she was suggesting you
I
share
also
that
have
out.
one on YouTube because there's a lot of these artists have videos as well.
Yeah,
So I have another one on YouTube.
yeah. All right. Well, very good. The studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. There was something that's been in the news, and it involves Taylor Swift, but it's not, we don't, on this iteration of the show, you got to wait for the podcast for the political talk. So no, we're not going there because
Are we going to talk about Japan assuring
but,
people she can come home?
But, I'm
only kidding.
So there's this other issue, which is not political. But the issue of, and we've been talking about this on the show a lot, Taylor Swift has been the victim of a lot of people posting AI-generated images.
Really nasty ones.
Yeah. And
Very, very wrong.
this is kind of the world we live in now.
Right. So AR is completely into entertainment. Where do we draw a line? What's okay? Is it okay for you to use AI to help write your music? Is it okay to use AI to produce all the sound? Where's the line? Like, where is it still the artist and where does it become the machine? Because that's what I can't figure out. Is it okay? Like, I won't go on any of the AI writer stuff because I don't want it to ever have my writing conflated with using an AI thing to write it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that. This has gotten to the point now where X, of course, formerly known as Twitter, The Verge is reporting. TheVerge.com is a great website, by the way. X is now blocking
Really?
Taylor Swift searches, barely, it says. It says here, X has blocked searches for Taylor Swift in reaction to a recent trend of graphic AI fakes of the world-famous recording artist being posted to the site. Right now, if you search Taylor Swift or Taylor Swift AI on X, you may see a something went wrong message. X head of business Joe Benaroque acknowledged the temporary message meant to prioritize safety, according to the Wall Street Journal, but it's very easy to get around, as we found out when trying some searches after performers Casey Newton posted about the block yesterday. Rearranging the words in your search to Taylor AI Swift, and instead of Taylor Swift AI, just Taylor AI Swift, or simply putting quotation marks around Swift's full name, both returned results as of this writing, for example. Even tacking another word onto one of the blocked search terms gets results. Also, images still show up under the media tab, even for the terms that are otherwise blocked.
So where does online entertainment draw that line, right? Because X is kind of going, oh, maybe but they're not really blocking anything. They're just doing a little fail-good thing where they're only blocking those few words. And we all believe that artists should be able to, do and say as they please. However, where do you draw that line when people are taking artists and making them into sexual fantasies or taking their voice and making their voice say things they never did?
Mm-hmm. It says here, Meta also seems to be addressing the issue as both Threads and Instagram suggest, quote, Taylor Swift AI if you start typing Taylor into their search boxes, but neither platform appears to show results. Instead, as of this writing, you may see a message saying that the term, quote, is sometimes associated with activities of dangerous organizations and individuals. Reports have said that Swift is considering legal action against the sites hosting the images, which users said they preferred Microsoft Designer to make, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, I'm sure I didn't say that correctly, called the deepfakes alarming and terrible in an interview with NBC Nightly News on Friday, and said he believes AI companies need to move fast to get better guardrails in place. I don't know. You know, something that I keep thinking about with all of this is the problem. The core problem, is it the ability to do this stuff, or is it the ability to do it so easily and in large quantity? And what I mean by that is, when we're talking about, for example, these graphic pictures of Taylor Swift, you could already do that pre-AI using things like Photoshop. You know, everyone has seen at one point or another Photoshopped images that later turned out to be fake. Or with like maybe we'll talk a little bit too about the George Carlin lawsuit going on, because his family is suing somebody over a quote unquote deep fake of a comedy special called "I'm Glad I'm Dead." But even, you know, and there was there have been instances of people's voices, you know, being AI generated fakes of people's voices used in robocalls and things like that. But you could do that without AI too. All you need is somebody who does a really good impression of somebody and just record it. And everybody knows people who do impressions. So I don't think the issue is so much what you can do with this technology. I think it's how easily you can do it and in mass quantities, because it's stuff you could already do. You could already make Photoshopped images that look realistic. You could already have somebody who does an impression of somebody just do an impression of somebody. So I don't think the problem is new in that sense. I think that just with this AI technology, it's just easier than it's ever been.
I honestly agree with that.
Yeah.
This stuff's been out for years. You know, I'm a child of the internet.
Yeah.
There's even if X and Instagram weren't even a thing and it was some other platform, there's going to be a funnel. There's going to be a place where it's a dumping ground, and you can go there, and that's where it is.
Yeah.
So this stuff's been around for a long time. Deepfakes used to be a big concern for people, where they were like putting like Arnold Schwarzenegger's face on Jim Carrey, or I think there's actually one really popular video of when Jim Carrey does impersonations, because he does quite a few good ones of like Clint Eastwood and other ones.
Yeah.
They morphed his face into those people during the interview, so it could change. So you watch his face change like 4 or 5 different times. So this stuff's already been around for a very long time. I don't think there's anything people can do about it. There's going to be paywalls, I think, that'll start to pop up, and there's already quite a few of them that do that, because AI companies can do what they want, but there's going to be companies that go the other route that don't care, and unless you can try and rule or regulate it, but it's going to be like just they'll switch the formula. They'll do something that'll change, or people will pirate that technology eventually, and then they'll just have it, and it'll just be out there in the world. It's like 3D printing. You know, like they've tried to curb that with certain things, but it's become so popular at this point. The only thing that kind of keeps people at this point is just the cost.
Right.
So unless they make it insanely expensive or very incredibly encrypted and hard to pirate, I don't think it's going to go away. It's a double edged too, because, you know, in some things it's funny and I like it. Like when I think of the AI music, I'm not upset about it, because sometimes it's really cool, because there are artists that are gone, which it can, I think, be a great segue for George Carlin stuff, where like it's really cool to hear like a Frank Sinatra sound, but he's singing like 3 Days Grace songs.
Right.
But it's in his tone with his sound and unique feeling and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Or in like a funnier sense, like one of my favorite ones is like Patrick Star from SpongeBob singing "Freak on a Leash" from Korn. It sounds horrifically bad, but it's so funny, like, because you know it's never going to happen. Like maybe they do, you know, do a surprise Korn appearance in the show, but it's never happened, and it's not something that anyone's going to really get upset or up in arms about. But then there's other aspects where I think it was a Drake and a Weeknd song that doesn't actually they never actually did a song together, but it sounds so damn good that everyone thought they did, and they didn't. There's no combatants for it. They couldn't do anything about it. Right.
Hello to Carol Zawarowitz in the Facebook live chat, and also Mike Pelopita from Queen City Cabinetry, one of our great sponsors here at WMNH, and of course Mike is one of our co-hosts on Friday nights for Retro Spectrum Radio. But I mean, I don't know what you do to stop any of this. I can tell you that well, there are limits though that some of the software can put on things, because we've talked about it. We've talked about it on the show, and it came up at that event that we went to at Mosaic about AI and art, where I a number of months ago, what was it, November, I think.
The Mosaic Art Collective actually held an information session where they had a whole show about AI and art itself.
Yeah. And I tried to use DALL-E 3 to create an image for a YouTube thumbnail, because we had done a segment on the show talking about the Daryl Hall versus John Oates lawsuit. And that software, though, when you enter prompts, it puts limits on what you can do. And Carl, who ran that event that we went to, was talking about how they've made the AI resistant to putting celebrities in violent situations. Because I tried to make a thumbnail. I asked DALL-E 3 in the prompt, I said, I want a thumbnail of Daryl Hall and John Oates in a boxing ring. Wouldn't do it.
I actually had similar. It was Bing's AI generated stuff.
Yeah.
So I of course you're gonna go all out, and like I had a bunch of fun ones. I was like, I want one. I tried one for fun. I was like, I want Limp Bizkit riding a Yoshi while eating candy, and it gave me that. So I was like, perfect. I'm like, all right, now I want Bill Gates fighting. Will not do anything with Bill Gates.
Really?
Anything, or just
anything.
Just not fighting? Anything.
No,
really?
I was like, interesting, because Microsoft owns it. So I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I tried doing, all right, I want Donald Trump and Joe Biden fighting, because I thought that would be funny.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't do it. I could get around it a little bit, where I'm like, all right, I want the 45th and the 46th president hanging out with each other, and then it would kind of do things, but at some point it caught on to what I was doing, because it is smart, and it would just not do anything more for me. So so it is interesting how you can do it, but you get some really neat stuff. Like I have a wallpaper on my computer, and I have an unhealthy obsession with gnomes. So I wanted a gnome war battleground fighting mushroom people, and it gave me a pretty cool looking fantasy of these gnomes fighting against these mushroom people.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Riding on like flowers and bugs, you name it. And so like in some ways it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then in other ways it's very limiting with that. Like the safeguards can also be a downside too, because you're trying to do something unique, and then it's like, nah, you're not going to be able to do that.
Well, with the Hall & Oates example, the best I was able to get out of it, I got them playing chess. But,
okay.
And then I said, I prompted it, make them look angry, and it did it. So in the image, they're playing chess, and they both have angry expressions on their faces, and it kind of looks like them, kind of.
But like anything violent and stuff, it wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It wouldn't do that. Now, why can't they do that on X to keep these deep fake pornographic pictures of
Because that would keep all the OnlyFans models off, and that's not going to make them happy. I joke, but it's really annoying. Yeah. Like I like to follow. The only reason I really have it is because I'm a huge gaming nerd, so I follow a lot of the companies and stuff. I can go click on a trailer, or maybe I want to read patch notes on a game I like to play, and 90% of the comments is just OnlyFans crap. And I'm not going there for that. I don't want to, I could be at work. It's like, oh, great. I wish that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's awesome. So I don't even use the app at work, because it's like, I don't trust
They're everywhere. You can't get away from them or their logo. I went somewhere recently, and they had OnlyFans T-shirts for sale with their logo.
That's big business.
Seriously, these guys are marketing hard. They must have taken some lessons from Gene Simmons of Kiss.
Hello, right. Hello to Chris from the band Edgewise in the Facebook live chat. Speaking of local music, maybe we'll play an Edgewise.
I think you
song
had your Edgewise shirt on yesterday.
I was wearing my Edgewise shirt yesterday. Oh yeah,
I remember noticing it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Now the other thing too. Now have you been following the George Carlin thing?
So I think actually you brought it up, and I had only heard about it because I did kind of hear. I heard the interview with I believe it was his daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I heard the interview with her. I have not heard the special. I definitely want to. George Carlin's definitely, like, for me, my favorite comedian of all time.
Yeah.
The only one that's come closest to at least his kind of observational humor that I like now is like Bill Burr, but that's like a side note.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't heard the AI generated comedy bits, because I'm curious though. I will listen to it at some point before it gets taken down. I'm imagining it might, but I think it's going to take a while before it could.
Yeah.
Depends.
Now it's on YouTube, and I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm going to play the very beginning of it in a moment. But
oh, cool.
So it's called George Carlin, I Am Glad That I Am Dead, and it's labeled as AI comedy special because George Carlin, we lost him a while ago. He's one of my favorites.
2008.
2008.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite. I kind of go back and forth on that.
Who's the other one?
Love Carlin.
What's that?
Who's your other one?
Sam Kinison is in there.
Ooh, all right. I like that.
I've kind of a top 5, but yeah, I'd put Sam in there.
Sam's definitely my 5 too.
Definitely, yeah. And he's controversial, but Dave Chappelle would be in my top 5.
Same.
Let's see. So the family. So basically, the estate of George Carlin is suing this YouTuber Dudesy. Who I don't know what other content Dudesy creates, but so they created using AI. They claim that the jokes and everything was actually written by AI, although there's some skepticism about that. But I'm just gonna play the beginning of it. I pre-screened this so I know exactly where the first swear is, so I know what point not to go past. But I want everybody to listen very carefully because I have an observation about this that I made to Jenny before the show. But just listen carefully to this audio. Here we go. This is just like the first maybe 30 seconds of the special.
Thank you. I'd like to start off with a heartfelt apology. I'm sorry it took me so long to come out with new material, but I do have a pretty good excuse. I was dead. So technically, it wasn't my fault. If you want to blame somebody, you're going to have to blame God.
Okay, here's my observation. I don't think it sounds like George Carlin.
It sounds like it went with the earlier days
when he was
George.
yeah,
when he came out the 7 words you can't say on television,
right?
Like that era. That's the kind of vibe sound I'm getting because the older comedic specials he had more of a rasp and kind of like that. As your voice gets older, I think it sounds much more like it's trying to blend those two together. Yeah, and that's why it sounds weird.
Yeah, I don't think here's the thing. So and the reason I bring this up is because the family is suing, but I don't know who would hear that and think that was actually him. I don't know who would be confused. To me,
what do you mean you don't know?
To me, it's a parody.
The title.
Right, but the title is
you think
AI comedy special, and it's called I Am Glad That I Am Dead. So it's obviously not really. So to me, it's obvious it's not him. It's obviously.
But it's copyrighted material that they're taking.
It's not copyrighted. It's AI generated.
I think it's going to fall under parody law, and I think
so too. I think so too.
There's a lot of AI stuff that has been pushed on. Almost 90% of those things haven't gone through. The only one that's tentative is like I mentioned that Weekend and Drake one. That they might get somewhere with that. But
right.
Most of it all falls under parody.
Right.
See, I don't think that you guys are right on this one, and here's why. Years ago, I worked on legislation involving the Salinger family who were trying to protect their dad's name because somebody was taking their dad's image and putting it on things they didn't approve of, like toilet paper, for example.
Yeah.
All right. So, and it depends on what state you're in as to what the law allows you to protect. So this is going on in California. The state of California allows, I believe it's 100 years that the family has the rights to that person's image, likeness, and so forth. Because, it's California, a lot of stars out there. So, yeah, they got 100 years. So the thought process is that person's lifetime plus one generation of their kids get to maintain control. Mm-hmm. In New Hampshire, there is no protection like that. When you're dead, anybody can do whatever the heck they want to, which is why I worked on that legislation. So this is all about protecting your image, your product, because Carlin, he's a product.
Right.
His jokes about God, there's nothing new coming up out of this thing about that. George Carlin has made jokes about God in every way, shape, or form. I can't agree that AI came up with that on its own because it's classic Carlin.
Well, yeah, but it's going to draw from, right. And that's been a big part of the discussion about AI.
So if the family owns the copyrights to his material,
right.
and they haven't given permission to utilize him, Well, isn't that the same thing as a band playing somebody else's music and getting paid for it?
I kind of want to
That
play
wouldn't
devil's
be okay,
advocate
right?
on this, though. So I don't know if you ever got to play around with ChatGPT before it
Oh,
became,
yeah,
before it
I
became a
have.
service.
Not really, no.
So I played around with it with one of my friends, and we were trying to get it to be as creative as possible. Like, all right, I want you to write me a song about it being a sea shanty. And it gave very, like, hoist the sails, raise the swords, drink your beer, like it wrote that. And I'm like, all right, I want a wartime song, but in the style of a sea shanty. And it did the same thing, but it reinvented the lyrics. So it did come up with all of it on its own.
Right.
3 or 4 verses, a chorus that you could repeat, even a little spot for a bridge solo if you wanted one. And it did it all on its own. So this is not something I had to make it right. So it's very, very possible. And even in the world of like gaming, like Skyrim is probably one of my all-time favorite games. It's a very popular game. There's a mod right now that you can get for that game that adds a follower where this person can follow you around and quest with you. And it's completely AI driven. So you can actually use your microphone to talk to it, and it will talk back to you as best as it can and pretend that it's in the world and role play with you. So you can ask like where you're born, and it'll name some city that's there, and then you can continue talking to the AI, and it will adapt and learn with you as you grow in the game. So it is very possible that it was AI driven. So yes, it is classic Carlin, but the AI has all of his stuff to pull from and then make it. And classic
that's that. But that's the thing. The AI is using other people's knowledge to create its product. So it only can do with whatever. If I had an AI computer and I only gave it the basics of information, that's where it's starting with, and it's going to draw from the information I gave it.
Yeah.
So if I feed the AI all of George Carlin and it develops this, I'm still taking copyrighted material. I'm still drawing
well, what if
from
they
the
released
original.
it in Asia?
Huh?
Asia, where they don't have a lot of copyright protection. What's the U.S. going to be able to do about somebody that does that over there?
Come on, red herring.
It's not a red herring.
Yes,
There's
is,
a whole other world. It's not just us.
We're not there. We're not there. We're talking about United States copyright law.
Yeah, but where does he post this other than the internet?
Well, it's on YouTube.
Well, I mean, like from like,
they're going to make
are
money
they going to claim
off
it? Like, is that it?
So should they be able to make money off of?
Only if Google lets them make money. It has to get monetized. They could demonetize the video and it makes absolutely no money.
True. Good point.
Unless they have it as behind some kind of paywall of their own.
For all we know, it's already
making money.
For all we know, it's already demonetized.
Most likely, it could be demonetized. Like, I don't know if there's a way for the viewer to know if the video is demonetized.
No.
Usually, it's the YouTuber that knows that it's demonetized. And YouTube's a very family friendly oriented spot now. Even if you find rough stuff, you can't yell swear words. You can't show death. You can't talk about stuff in certain degrees. And they demonetize it.
I actually don't think this is monetized because there was no ad. I didn't have to skip an ad or anything. It just played.
So they're not making any money. They're just going to get views, and that's not going to do anything for them.
Kate said in the chat, it sounds like the Temu version of Carlin. The thing is, if you
I like that.
If you played that for me and you didn't tell me anything about it, and you just said to me, Matt, who do you think this is? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't think, oh, that sounds like George Carlin. I might think it sounds Carlin-esque.
But that's not enough. Yeah, that's not enough.
I want to listen to the full thing at some point. I'm very curious.
I'm very curious.
I'm wondering if it grows on you as it goes. Like, does it turn more into his voice in your head?
Yeah, it may.
Kind of a thing?
It may have that effect, yeah.
The bottom line is they didn't have any kind of permission to use his likeness or any of his copyrighted materials, and they're claiming that some of what's in there is his copyrighted material. It's
possible there's specific jokes that show up that are actual Carlin jokes. I can just tell you, like, for example, I did something when I first started messing around with ChatGPT. I asked it to write a Kiss song, and it wrote it wrote a song, and just the lyrics, obviously. And it was kind of funny. There were lines in there like we wear our face paint and get ready to rock the stage, and just kind of cheesy stuff. And it was fun. And then just for the hell of it, you can add prompts to get more specific, or you can just click regenerate and just, let it go at it a second time. So I just did that. I just clicked regenerate. On the second pass, all original lyrics except this time the phrase "I want to rock and roll all night" actually showed up in the chorus.
And
I thought, okay, now you're plagiarizing yourself, ChatGPT, but it's because it's drawing from actual lyrics.
The
and
information it has.
Now an actual phrase. So to your point about, you were saying that the family is saying there's actual.
There's actual copyrighted material in there.
That's very possible.
As well as using his likeness as imaging.
Yeah.
Kelly Carlin, his daughter, was stated as saying, quote, a poorly executed facsimile cobbled together by unscrupulous individuals to capitalize on the extraordinary goodwill my father established with his adoring fans.
The one thing I kind of look at with this, though, like at the end of the day, even if the lawsuit goes through and passes, like this is going to be a very interesting technology where, like, let's say you go into a museum and they're doing maybe it's a comedian museum. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could go in front of a holographic stage through and it's George Carlin standing there wagging his finger at you, saying things in his voice and his likeness, and you got just a glimpse of that history.
Yeah. I think that's an awesome
what's
idea.
That's where it's already heading. Like I've a couple of the museums I went in DC, they had holographic people standing in front. But granted, this isn't like there's no way we're gonna ever have the voice of like George Washington, but it's people dressed up as like all these colonial people and all that. But it's like they're moving across the screen that you can't really see. It just it seems like they're actually there. So if they do that with artists like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, how cool would that be to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and there's Grandmaster Flash and there's Dolly Parton and then they're
with you.
Gene Simmons, and they're all hanging out with each other, sounding exactly like themselves. Like that's the beauty of the technology, and it will get there because this is like our stone tablet. It's gonna be 100 years from now.
Well said.
It like that. That's kind of where I view it. So you can be upset. This was clearly made not to belittle George Carlin.
Right.
Clearly this is somebody who likes him. That's why he put it's an AI thing. And I think the title is actually really clever.
Yep.
I do think that is a George Carlin inspired title. Whether the AI came up with the title or dudes he did.
Agreed.
I think that's a funny title. That's definitely something I would click on. If George Carlin could come back from the grave and make a title, that would be a definite way to
Absolutely. I agree.
I agree. And I'm definitely going to listen to the whole thing. But it's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard for the family to prove harm.
If it was made out of love, especially.
Right. Exactly.
If he really does feel bad, maybe he'll take it down. But I think this is a person probably experimenting with AI. I'm curious if this guy actually has more than like this one long video or.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to learn.
I'll have to kind of skim through.
Learn more about him, but I'm very curious.
It'll also be interesting to see what they give for a response. Now, the defendants haven't issued any kind of statement in response. They haven't put in their what do they call it? They haven't done their response to the lawsuit to the court yet.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen anything from them. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah.
As an answer to this, do they have a legal leg to stand on? Is it right? Well, here's a question for you guys. Is it, in your opinion, when an artist dies, should that be it? Anybody fair game? Or do you think they should be able to bequeath the rights to their image to at least one generation?
I don't know. Only because I remember years ago when I was a kid, there was the holographic display of Tupac Shakur rapping, and it had been years after he had died, and people were really upset about it. But at the same token, there's not another rapper that's anywhere close to Tupac's level of like greatness, other than like you can reference Biggie, but obviously he's gone too. But that was alive at that time, so it's one of those. And another one that came up too, discrepancies aside, Michael Jackson, another one. Also, same person that had a holographic thing done with his likeness and image and everything like that. But he's considered the king of pop, and it was done not out of malice, but because it was cool to see somebody of his time and greatness display across the stage. So I think there should be a grieving period. Like I think it would be too soon if, like, say some he just passed, Carl
Robinson.
Carl Weathers, is that his name?
Oh yeah, from he played Apollo Creed in the Rocky movie.
Yep. So he just passed. Like, maybe not do a likeness with him right away. Give some time, but a couple of years down the road, if it was something done in kindness, why not? As long as it's not somebody doing it out of malice, I don't think people have an issue with, like the Taylor Swift photos, clearly done out of malice. People don't like that. Not a lot of people are a fan of that, but if it's done in kindness, I don't think people are going to have as much issue.
Yeah. It will be very interesting. I can see this kind of going either way, but I think most likely, I don't think the family is going to be successful in their
I think it's
lawsuit.
very possible they will be
I don't think
successful
so.
because they're suing in California, where they have more legal legs to stand on.
That makes sense.
There's
But
a
I don't know if it'll
100-year
set
rule.
a precedent, though.
There's already precedent set.
Well, I mean, around the rest of the states, though.
Well, every state is different. Like I said, in this state, the minute you die, anybody can do whatever they want to with you. In California, it's 100 years. In some states, it's 50 or 75.
So I'd be okay with it. Like myself personally, I wouldn't be upset. Somebody managed to copy my voice and make something neat out of it. I'm fine with it. Why not?
All right, fair game. You say that. This is what I said when I was up there talking about it. Across from the Concord State House is an adult store, or there was. I don't know if it's still there. There was an adult store. So the minute the governor passes away, his face can show up in that adult store on something very unokay, and the family would have no control or rights to make that go away.
Right.
I mean,
you think that's okay?
Unless we'll put a clause in there. If you write a will that says it's not okay, then it's not okay. But if you don't write a will, fair game.
But that's
put
what
me
we're
on the G-string.
See, here's what we're talking about. The daughter has controlling rights over his copyrighted material.
Yeah. Well, it'll be we gotta wrap up the segment, but it'll be very
Quick.
interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, fun conversation.
But,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I assume you have to bail, or
I do want to hear this. Ricky,
okay.
Oh yeah, we're gonna switch out.
Ricky Mapleton's gonna be coming
I can
in.
stick around for a little bit longer, and then after that, I gotta hightail it, start making some foods.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very
Great
good. Very good. Thank you. And so stick around. We've got Ricky Mapleton coming up next. And since I see him in the chat room, Chris H from Edgewise, I'm gonna play a little Edgewise for you. And we'll get Ricky Mapleton in here. That'll be a lot of fun. He's always fun. And we'll show some love to our amazing sponsors on the way there, too. So stick around. We've got more Matt Connarton Unleashed coming up. Don't go away.